Hello everybody, I am SolarHD, and welcome back to Borderlands 1. In the previous episode, we just essentially started our second major chapter of the game, the Sledge chapter. Um, what we have here is we have a quest about lore and, well, our... I hate this quest already. The Shock Crystal Harvest. So, before I go into too much in depth, I would like to correct myself on a few things. I didn't notice I could zoom using the enter button, but a lot of the time I just use the scroll wheel, but my scroll wheel is a little messy. Anyways, um, I'm also pointing out that there's a rarity system with the weapons. As you've noticed, I have a green, purple, blue, and so on. The rarity system goes from white, green, blue, purple, yellowish, orange, which is common, uncommon, rare, ultra rare, which is the name I give to purple, and legendaries. They essentially have the highest rarity out of all, usually have amazing effects, though are usually hard to find, and usually dropped from bosses. Commons are usually a lot of the time found in chests and stores. The purple weapon I picked up, the double thumper. I didn't notice this until I started editing the previous episode, but this is like the bone shredder, though the capacity is not that much compared to the bone shredder. Oh yeah, because we completed on getting ourselves the third weapon slot for our thing, I could now have the sniper equipped as well, so I can now have 3 weapons. Though I am not the greatest with snipers. So, as I was saying, before I interrupted myself, the gunner cannot lock on, but they have the ability to shoot independently from the driver. I would like to make that clear right now. And I feel like I aggroed skags from across the globe. And I do that by pressing the control button. It's been a little while since I've played, so how about we start doing ourselves some questing? As I did mention, we would be doing mostly questing in this video. I will be collecting, for the lore quest, every journal in order. There is a journal up here, spoiler, but I'll be picking it up in this video, so it's not really a spoiler. But I will be picking it up when in as well, so it doesn't matter if I say if it's a spoiler and say where it is when I'm literally going to pick it up. Now, again, I've decided to start from a fresh playthrough since last time. So, enemies will have respawned. I actually kind of misspoke last time I recorded and said that SMGs have an anarchy setup. I am actually wrong. They're usually double thumpers or double shot SMGs that consume 2 bullets per shot. Though of course their damage is doubled if both bullets land at the same in the same place. Which I'm just gonna murv the ever living hell, and he kicked the bomb. Are you kidding me? A sniper is actually always good against Bonehead. I just didn't use it last time because it was a better challenge to just, well, go in and run head first. He will always drop a Bone Shredder SMG no matter how many times he is killed. He will always drop it. So, let us pick up our first echo, our first journal.
Day 1 on planet Pandora.
Whoops.
I have been assigned to this sector by my superiors to find evidence of abandoned alien technology similar to that found by our competitor, the Atlas Company, in the ruins on Prometheus. Technology that many believe made them the superpower they are now. This kind of find seems astronomically improbable on a rock like this, but my benefactors believe in it enough to waste my considerable talents. I've only been here for 3 hours, and I already believe this planet will be the death of me. Scientists do not chase myths and legends.
Okay. Whoever it is Patricia Tanis is, she's essentially been sent here to chase a myth? Whoever her patrons are, they really must not like her to send her on this desolate rock. Well, we've got our second one here. Day 43.
43 on Pandora. At least I believe it to be the 43rd day I've been here. The moonlight cycles are difficult to get used to. The planet rotation day is over 90 hours long. The people that inhabit this salted dust ball are as ignorant as I've seen in this galaxy. When I attach scientific inquiry to something like the vault, I'm greeted with silly nursery rhymes and slack-jawed soliloquy about a man who knew a man who knew a man. They drift off into a stupor where I half imagine they're drunk or brain damaged and are unaware of my continued presence. If I believed in hell, I would contemplate how it compared to Pandora. Ironically, such a belief would align me with these Neanderthals.
Okay, that's not what I was expecting from this one. Our next one is right here. This is no. Oh, hello. Okay, burning psychos. We've seen one in the previous episode, but he was dead. Essentially, they're psychos. They're on fire, and they can light you ablaze if you're not careful. Midget shotgunners are essentially the same thing as a bandit, but with midget, and they often use shotguns. And when they shoot, they often knock themselves down. A headshot seems to do quick work of them if you're good at aiming, which I'm not really good because a lot of the time I just use SMGs. And burning cycles, I should also mention, they are immune to burning damage, meaning they cannot take any damage when they're being hit by fire attacks, which I'm just gonna nuke the hell out of these enemies and take my kill before the skags take them from me. SMGs are usually the weapon of choice I go with. Elder Skags! Yes, I've mentioned their existence when I was going on with Skags and all their different types. And there are a lot of hell. Thank you for your SMG, but it is shittier than this double thumper. But back onto the topic of Anarchy SMGs from the last episode. The reason why I thought Anarchy SMGs were the same thing as double thumpers is because I played the second game in the line that this game is from, Borderlands 2. And I misconceptualized the Anarchy SMG with double thumpers, which is just higher damage at the cost of 2 shots. I'm just gonna use one of my medkits before I die again. So, okay, you don't have to defy physics, sir. The way to get to where we need to go, we need to jump above and not fall down. Um, not to spoil, but we will be coming back here at a later point, where we'll be back here completing other stuff, and I do not want to fall. Is there good stuff? No. I should mention, weapons that when you see a multiplier, that means their elemental damage will be greater. So that doesn't mean it'll do 3 times the damage with because it is fire. That just means uh, the fire burning effect of the incendiary element is just greater, higher potential. Boy, oh boy, I love that bomb, that grenade. The reason why I'm not equipping everything I see on site is because people have their playstyles, and playstyles is important. Where you can just grab a weapon, try it out, and so on. I've played this game a lot, so I know what kind of weapon I like using. There's one weapon in particular, though I might not get to see it. I don't know. But it is extremely rare. But this is where the Echo is located. Let's pick it up. Oddly, it's labeled mixtape. I'm worried.
This is the 76th day. I was woken up, hoping I was having a reoccurring nightmare. We spent more than 36 hours earlier today relocating our campsite closer to our dig site, only to be ambushed by local wildlife that's hungry coming out of hibernation. Half of my staff was eaten alive, or killed by skags. I survived by hiding under a colleague of mine who was being devoured on top of me. His name was Carl. My emotions are deadened, and I grieve for none of them. In point of fact, the only emotion I felt was that of joy. I felt joy because his chair was always more comfortable than mine. I took his chair, and then I noticed the emissive glow on the rocks at the dig site.
Badass, corrosive, skag. We have encountered our first badass elemental skag. They have more resistance, and they can barf out and deal more damage of the corresponding element they are. And their projectiles they spit also hurt. I don't like that. But they do reward a lot of experience. But when they barf out, they're also exposing their weak point, which is their mouths. So they die a lot easier. I will be grabbing this, because this is going to be a lot better to deal with those skags. Speak of the devil, burn. Like I said, the higher the multiplier of the element, the higher chance it will proc. And by proc, I mean it has a higher chance to happen. Now, the reason why I went with resilience already when we didn't encounter enemies with elemental damage is because elemental damage is actually really common in this game, believe it or not. They are more common than they should be, essentially. In a way, they are mostly wielded by skags, by their badass counterparts. But a lot of the time, if you're fighting bandits and they have burning psychos, which is essentially fire damage, so you have fire to deal with already. But at some point or another, you'll be forced to deal with the enemies having annoying problems where they shoot more elements than normal bullets. And like I said earlier, where we're going to be coming back here for one of those journal entries, well, I'm not wrong. We're actually coming here for this one up here. Looks like it was dropped from... Oh, God.
Day 119. I sat in the shower in tears for just under an hour. This is interesting, considering we haven't had water for days. I equate my ever-decreasing sanity with that of the population of my dig site. With the investigation of the symbols and glowing patterns at the site, we finally unearthed arguably certifiable proof of the existence of alien life having been here on Pandora. But this celebration was lonely, as I only have 2 colleagues left. And I'm not too fond of the fat girl, Chimay. I've been told that scientific discovery requires sacrifice, but I never understood what they meant until now.
Okay. The last echo is in a dangerous spot, and I don't like it for that reason, because the enemies here are often dangerous, as I may have aggroed a bunch of skags. Level 12. Now, a lot of the time you can tell what are the enemies that are going to spawn. A lot of the time, bandits will spawn in, like, some weird-looking tents and or huts. If I would be so kind to explain elemental damage, essentially, as we already have our first glimpse of our new icon, Dangerous. I call that icon Dangerous. Essentially, the enemies are higher level than you are and will do more damage to you. Elemental damage. We already have fire, so it's self-explanatory. It does more damage to enemies that that are fleshy. Ow, that kind of hurts. I'm gonna bolt away and just snipe them. That place is always a train hack. I dislike the fact that these enemies are extremely powerful. I have been killed numerous times by these enemies. So if you can use natural cover against the enemies, you will have an easier time killing them. But let's continue on to my ridiculous, stupid rant of elemental damage. There are other elemental damage, shock and corrosion. They're also known elemental damage types, though they do not have an apparent effect until we pick them up. Though the first one we do have and we could get is shock, which, if I can get to shock crystal harvest, essentially there will be elemental artifacts we could pick up throughout the game that will allow us to attune our special ability with an element or different attributes. Those attributes are fire, shock, corrosion / corrosive, and explosive. And yes, I am going to be playing this stupid strategy against these stupid bruisers. They're essentially a tank that likes to go up in your face. I fucking hate these things. Or I hate this enemy in general. Bandits have the most weirdest group of enemies ever. You have bandits, the normal variety, that just shoots at you and just cowers behind an obstacle as well as throwing grenades. Bruisers are essentially their tanks. They like to go in your face wielding very powerful weapons, mostly shotguns, assault rifles, or, at some point, rocket launchers. I don't like this at all. Psychos, they're essentially your melee equivalent of bandits. They like to run at you, they can throw their buzz axe. They're extremely annoying. And they also like to be a pain in the ass by sometimes doing a kamikaze explosion on you. And we have burning psychos.
The fat girl, Shimei, was crushed under an alien ruin that collapsed today. She didn't die right away and begged me to put her out of her misery as she choked on various fluids and bile. I hesitated because she was the last one alive. This wasn't me. As she was choking and coughing and dying, I tried to enjoy the interaction, which I imagined to be a conversation, as I knew it was the last I would have for a while. I finally got around to smothering her so that I could continue my research. I could tell that she regretted the decision. The Skags have been waiting for this meal for a while. They will not go hungry tonight.
Gruesome. Now, I don't want to explore this camp as it already gave me a hard time already, so I will go and complete the shot crystal harvest after I complete this quest. You know what? This jackass needs to die, and he needs to disappear right now. This is a bad decision. So, can we just not talk about what just happened?
I might not have a med school degree, but when you get shot, you'll be happy I'm here.
Well, I'm kind of glad I didn't activate any new use, because that would have been bad for me. Because I wouldn't have needed to run back all the way here, but thank God I didn't.
Still haven't found the ball.
No, shut up, Claptrap. You're a pain in the fucking ass.
No end to my power.
Wow! Stannis is aggressive. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to put that in that spot. I'm surprised I almost killed that badass by ramming it over the head with a car. Badass bruisers are essentially my least favorite enemy in existence. They're the worst. They're the ultimate pinnacle of bruisers and bandits, in my opinion. They suck. The only thing I can say is they have a lot of health, a lot of damage, and they also like to play the pain in the ass game by essentially hugging you to death and punching you. On top of that, they also have the ability to spawn with rocket launchers, a weapon archetype we do not have access until later on in the game. And rockets are very powerful weapons, believe it or not, as if rocket launchers aren't the pinnacle of weaponry in the game. They're essentially hard-hitting weapons, though they have limited weapons. Or limited ammo, because they have, like, nothing. The Lost Cave. Level 15, Shock Crystal Harvest. This place, I do not recommend coming here on your first time, because it is a pain in the ass. We have our first instance of light health or healing regeneration items. Light healing kit and light insta health vials. They're essentially a second tier of items we can grab, but I do not want to waste money on them. Now, here I will be picking up the SMG SDU. because it is a straight up bigger ammo capacity than what I have. I'm also able to buy a launcher ammo, which I'll just buy 2 amounts because they give quite a lot. They give 12 per purchase. I'm going to grab a lot of ammo because this place is going to destroy me. Larva crab worms. Oh god, already almost dead. I am not staying here whatsoever. Forget about it. Actually, I have the perfect idea of what to do. We're going to meet up with Shep, complete his quest, and we're gonna see what we can do from there.
Get out of here.
So let's just get out of this place with my exactly 1 hit point left. In multiplayer, that badass bruiser would have been dead by now, because we could have just rammed him with 2 vehicles and he would have been just gone. Hello, friend. The name's Shep Sanders. I oversee the operation of Zephyr Sustain and Headstone Mine. Well, that's what I did before Dahl pulled out and the bandits moved in. We get 3 quests, one of which is the main quest, which we're going to accept. You want to kick Sledge out of... Shut up. You want to kick Sledge out of Headstone Mine? Huh? Good for you. I think you're crazy, but I'll give you a hand. You need the key. Last I checked, there was one down in Zephyr's substation office. Of course, the bandits aren't going to make it easy for you. Get the fuck out of here. It's just kill a bunch of racks and shit. And the Breaking Wind is just a quest hell, a quest fest. So we will be doing both the racks, which is easy because there's a nest all over here, which I'm just gonna go by hand because I do by foot. Just shoot once, aggro. Ow. Oh god! They're swarming me. Though they're easy enough enemies to kill, so they do die pretty fast. And SMG usually makes quick work of them because they usually tend to hang, and SMGs being inaccurate, they actually work well against the enemies. Well, racks at least. Next up, the turbine brake. This is just go to point A, point B, and point C and press a button. I won't be doing them in order because it's pretty easy. It's just go to point A, point B, and point C. God, I'm getting a dry throat. I've been talking for a long time, but this game is a little better with friends and or a commentator. Why did I throw a grenade at a burning psycho? I like your weapon. The bandit, thug, killers, and so on, they're just a stronger version of the enemy. Same for raiders. And a lot of the time, bandits can spawn with shields, which usually doesn't cause much effect when you're using a weapon with incendiary effect. Shock weapons will do great work, but otherwise they're just not worth using a fire weapon unless the fire weapon does exceedingly fast damage and enough to bypass the shield entirely. Mordecai, in his later levels, he gets the ability with a sniper rifle to bypass the shields entirely. I don't want to meet my maker. A lot of the time when I'm using a non-SMG fire weapon or of another element, I'll just use the elemental weapon for like a few shots to set them with the elemental weaponry. And a lot of fun stuff can happen, but elemental weapons are just good. Instead of a key, you found a note that was left in its place. Years accumulated dust suggests that the key won't be returned anytime soon. You'll need to look for it elsewhere. The note you found suggests that the mine gate key can be found at Sledge's safe house to the north. Level 14, difficulty tough.
Greetings, traveler. New missions are available at the Firestone Bounty Board.
I don't know why that looked like it made me complete it twice. We essentially completed... Okay, I'm just gonna go through this place and activate the brakes because, well... Yeah, the last one's over there, which is gonna be easy. Was that Skag trying to hit me? Whoops, I killed Skags because I know how to throw grenades. A lot of the time, grenades are not the kind of weapon I use the most. I'm probably gonna stop using grenades and just go faster because my videos, at least my first two, have been about 35 minutes average. And I do want to take about like 20, maybe half an hour. Because sometimes games are more enjoyable when they're not that long. 40 minutes is a little excessive. 20 minutes is a little too short in my opinion, so about 30 minutes every time is good. Which we're just gonna talk to Shep Sanders, complete these quests.